Hello out there. This is me again, and we are here on April 2nd at the end of the day, and this is going to be page 15. I've already got the first image rendering and layer, and because this took, I expected this to take a lot of work staging some of these scenes. I did a lot of the staging work before um, coming online. So you don't have to sit through the full hour it takes to set up the characters for the next shot. And here we are rendering the second layer for the first image. I think this is, I complain a lot about the um, about how slow these go sometimes. But it's like this one. Like I said, this one took over an hour, I think, with all the characters I wanted in the gym or that are going to be showing up. Yesterday, it was lighting. Um, I didn't film those scenes, but I'm talking about like the nighttime scenes in the Brody section. And here's my layer. Filter blur. And if I remember correctly, we're doing these at 3 at the gym. Okay. And you can hardly see it anyway, so oh well. Um, Export as. So yeah, it's generally the lighting setup that sort of gives the look of these images, probably as much as the render image I end up the render engine I end up using. So, when I do these stories, I'll usually set up a standard light setup. I just basically use almost the same light setup each time, but when I want to do something different, like nighttime scenes, the different lighting setup gives the images a different look. I think you might see it in Rusty and Elliot's story. And there's a point in the story where they come home at night, and one of the detectives is inside waiting for them. And it's because I was trying to do a different setup. It does have a little different look at it. I don't know how much you can tell, whether you just kind of read it through it quick, or you sit and study each and every image for quite a while, but you can definitely notice. And with the let's see, I want outdoor off. Okay. So there were a couple of things I was trying to do that I don't think I've ever really tried to do before, and it was, so yesterday I was spending a lot of time trying to get that right. But and that was basically inside the office building. I kind of wanted it dark in the hallway and light filtering out from the room. And it was like no matter what light I put in the room, I was getting, it was giving me a look that was more like what I'm seeing in the short tail stories than what I see here. So it was like a constant fight trying to get a light that would work. New layer is what I want to do. Layer to image size. It's like once I get Brody inside the room, as you can see, I can just like close the door behind him and bring up my standard light setup. Oh god. And then basically like the rest of the scene is I don't have to worry about it, but it's like the one or two shots where I've got where I want the light kind of creeping out from under the door, and then I want sort of when one shot where he opens the door, and it's like that one shot just took forever. Okay, let's save this while we're here. This is 15, as we said. And here comes layer 1. As you can tell, this is sort of a continuation on the theme where he sees the kidnappers everywhere and they turn out to be somebody else. Park them in the clothes folder for now. What do I want to do? I think I can turn off furniture altogether, building, and then outdoor. Okay. So we go B. I know the first 2 pages, as they were definitely confusing, and I think that's kind of what I wanted to. Wasn't initially what I wanted to go with, but I think I wanted to leave it and explain it later. Like about here, halfway through the first book, to sort of give you an unsettled feeling, like a what the hell just happened kind of. Like a what? And I sort of like this idea that he's kind of suffering from a little bit of post-traumatic stress. Not that he's scared of these guys, but he can't get them out of his head. It's the idea is he was so worried for Francis that now it's like all he can think about. So he sees these people, these 4 guys, everywhere. And I think I've decided after all, because I sort of really do need some action earlier in the book than just like the ultimate climax, but that it's going to turn out that that all these bad guys are granted bail, or something like that. Okay, save. So it's going to come as a real surprise when Detective Grady told them that bail was denied, and then at the end of this story, they find out that they got bail after all. Let's see. This is going to be filter blur Gaussian 3. Shoot. No, actually, because that building's a little further away, so that one gets 5. And the problem is the blur ends up doing that. So I think what I can do is just lower the layer. I can get away with lowering the layer, right? Yeah. And you'll never notice. So what am I doing? File export as. Okay. Layer scale 34. There we go. Okay, let's put building and furniture back on. And I park them in clothes. I park them in clothes to make it easier to find these people because I've got a folder here for unused characters, and as you can see, it's got probably a dozen or more characters that at one time or another populated this set throughout this story. Let's do. What do we want to do? How about closed? Da, da, da. Concentrate, maybe. Mouth open a little, yep. Frown, and then I think we flatten that. Smile. You know what? I think at one point I hid the parameter I'm looking for, so let's go show hidden. Da, 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 da. Where are we? That one. I have a feeling that I'm going to be cutting off the windows, so I'm not going to bother layering this one. So we'll call this one 3. The layer to image size. For some reason, I am holding off on adding the text. I got thinking about the text, and now I can't even think of what I'm doing here. But yeah, I think this is a case where I'm going to set the images and then place the text accordingly. I'm a little torn as to whether this is one page or two, and I'm thinking, as much as I'd like to do this on one page, I think it's going to go to 2 pages. Actually, I know it's going to go to 2 pages as much as I want. So I think instead of having this page end at an odd note, I'm going to kind of stretch out the bad guy scene here a little bit. Da, 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 da. And I guess while we're waiting, I'll kind of take this moment to, it's like I've been thinking about it since, thinking about like you guys since it started, and, hoping you're all doing okay out there, wherever in the world you are. I hope you're surviving the coronavirus and getting through these troubled times and whatever. Um, as of today, here, and I guess that's reported in the morning. We seem to be still doing fairly well. I'm not really sure what the infections are up to. I think here in this state we're only around 2,000, and so far deaths have only been in the teens. So I think we're lucky. There's a lot of smaller states in this country with quite a few more deaths than us, and a lot more cases too. So I complain about the like stay-at-home orders that they decided to institute like over this weekend, but I think because I would say because we kind of took it seriously from the very first case, that that probably helped us. Well, let's face it, not become New York City. I mean, it's like I'm amazed. Here it is, April 3rd, and like and New York is like just basically now deciding to close down the playgrounds. Like you're basically like the center of the epidemic in the United States right now, and you've still got playgrounds open. Like, oh my god. Open as layer. Layer scale. Yeah, see, we'll cut the windows off here. So, I mean, it's really, I mean, honestly, like, it's, I mean, like, yeah, it's inconvenient. And it does kind of boggle the mind why, not why, but that we're putting these restrictions in place, but we're still, like, allowing mass gatherings in supermarkets. But, oh, oh, no, there it is. But, I would have to say that's kind of kept us, where I am, from seeing a full-blown outbreak at this point. Um, oops. We don't have the chair centered. I'll fix this. Oh my god. Um, Stool. Let's kind of make sure he's not falling off the stool here. Da, 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 da. And I think, okay, so I'm going to show you where keys come into place, because I think what I want to do is come back to this pose. I sort of want to add this pose, and I don't want to take the time to repose this. So what I'm going to do is come over here into the timeline, and over here under range, you see I've got it set 1-1, so I'm at frame number 1. Frame number 0 is the standard basic zeroed out, or the standard poses I always want reset to. But because I want to come back to this pose, I'm going to change range to 1-2, and then flash forward to frame 2. And now I'm going to basically pose him for this shot. That way, when I'm done, I can go back to frame 1, and he'll be set up in this pose. So I can just close that. And I think this is gonna get a little bloody, I think. Oops, let's take hidden properties off. And we're gonna try and make it look like he was hit. Let's see, close. Actually, probably not. Let's undo that. I think. Oh, I don't have everything favorited, so let's go here and we'll start favoriting some of these that I don't have favorited that I want favorited. So it's a little easier to pick through some of these. Um, okay, and so we come to favorite, and I've got a smaller menu to flip through. I think this one. Da, 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 da. This is X, right? Okay. Now what we're gonna do is come over here and let me see. Under props. Effects, that's what we want. Let's see. Uh, this one. This is gonna be a little gruesome. Um, yeah, why not that one? This one maybe. Okay. So then we find these and we'll bring them over. Da, 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 da. Make it look like he's getting shot. Kind of want this, so I think I want to rotate it. Oh, what's going on? There we go. Why does it keep grabbing the one I don't want? Okay. Line that up. Oh god, we're not even close. Hmm. Okay. Oh shoot, I gotta deal it the wrong way. Flip that over this way. There we go. That should be what we want. Let's put it. Okay. So Control C that, and then we'll Control V this one. Jesus Christ. Let's bring this one over and see what this looks like. There we go. That looks kind of gruesome, right? You know, this one I think has to be a little smaller. So let's scale that down a bit. There we go. See, I don't think these have to be like perfect. I think all they have to do is look like. See. Okay, so maybe this one has to be rotated just a little bit. It just has to be angled so that it looks it to the camera. And then what we're going to need is one of these little splashes to go. Maybe another one of these. E. Which one? Oh, see, like that. Oh, jeez. That's like. That. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this not that way. This way. So I feel like this has got a. Oh, Jesus, that looks. Wow. Um, yeah. Okay, I think that looks good. Let's render it and see what it looks like. Oh my god. And thankfully, I guess they're saying that, like at our infection rate, we don't even have 200 people hospitalized because of this. So, that's a good thing. It's a very good thing. And at least they say they've got, I guess they say they've still got quite a few empty beds in the state's hospitals. So at least we've got room to, once this keeps getting worse. Oh, ouch. You know what? I may have to reposition these. After all. This is that standard trope when you see your main characters die, but it usually turns out to be like an alternate universe double, or in this case, it's imagination. We get to see him die, but it's not really him. Actually, that kind of works, I guess. Okay, we'll wait. I can just go ahead and. I may just cram this onto one page after all. Sort of one I don't really want to stretch it out for the sake of stretching it out. it's what I want to do here is he's helping, who is this, Grady? Since Connors is out of action, he's spotting for Grady's workouts. And then he sees these guys walk in, kill Francis, and then all of a sudden he gets jarred out of it when Grady calls for help because he's got the bar stuck on his chest. If it wasn't for the headshot, he might actually have survived this because it's not exactly hitting his heart, so he might just need like his lung fixed. Where are we on time? 3 minutes and 40 seconds? You know what? I'll save this. I think it's all the reflections on reflections that's causing this one to go a little slower. Because I should have the ray tracing set up so that it ends up creating the reflections within reflections instead of just the initial reflection and then black beyond that. So it's basically got to calculate all the light bouncing back and forth over and over again. And that's what slows down the render times in here. And you usually tell because once it gets past the troubled spot, here we've got where it's converging it further, the part that's already done is up here and it's going this way. So it's like when it's the hair slowing down a scene, it'll get slow until it renders past the hair and then the render speed will pick up. But here we're still slowed down because I think we've got the reflection in the little fridge here. And it goes almost all the way down, so where are we? Yeah, see, so we're pushing 6 minutes and we still got a ways to go. Um, but I think I've got it positioned where it does what I want it to do. So I'm going to let this finish. And I'm actually going to cut out and cut back in when this is done because this will probably push 10 to 12 minutes at the rate it's going. So I don't want to sit here for another 4 or 5 minutes. Okay, so I'll be back. Okay, so that took longer than I expected because I got this picture back and I realized it should be on the left side of the page, not the right side. So I was toying, it was like toying with a transitional image to put here and then bring this one down here. But I needed an element and I didn't feel like recreating it. I thought I had it saved in another file. So I ended up going through all the files and then sort of the backup hard drives to see if I had old versions of the files. And it turned out I didn't have the element I needed, wanted. was not in any saved file. So I figured instead it probably wouldn't have been that hard to recreate, but it's in one of those like lazy moods where you probably put more effort into trying not to do something. So, after opening up file after file trying to find the element I needed, what I decided on was to scrap the idea, um, move the image of him getting shot from this panel over to here, and then I'm basically recreating his closed eye reaction shot to work on the right side of the page. And then I'll end up wrapping it up on one page like I kind of wanted to. We've got this one. So because this one will have the window, this one gets layered, composited, whatever you want to call it. So we will open that up. And filter blur, this gets blurred 3. 3, okay. And we go file, export as, let's drop letter, and export that one. Da, 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 da. I think in the long run this will be a better this will sort of be the better solution because what are we going to scale? Because it'll get this sequence moving rather than bogging it down in possibly unnecessary details. And I think he's going to come over a little. There we go. Okay. Okay. And I think now let's see. Actually, I think that will work and kind of keep the confusion going a little bit. Okay, so let's select none. Ah, I forgot to control C that. What the hell? Okay, I thought I control C that, but I guess not. Edit. Select none. There we go. Oh, yeah, let's get rid of all that. Edit, cut. Control C, edit, paste as new layer. Layer 2. No, transform. Okay. Okay. On parent. And let's put the building on for now. Not the outdoor gym lights. Okay. Left furniture on. That's why it's. I feel like there's something else. Um, but what I did do is I forgot to bring this back to frame number 1. So delete the keys. See, I've got it back in the closed expression. Go to Francis. I go delete the keys. That should put him back into. Okay. And then I delete the key on him. There we go. And let's see. Did I move the stool? Oops. Oh no. Okay, no, the stool isn't keyed. Okay. But the camera is. Where's the camera? Let's kill the camera key. Delete key. Okay, so that should be good. And let's bring it back to number 1. And since I don't need these, let's delete those. Delete, delete, delete. Okay. And since I'm over here already, I can get rid of that. Let's drop the thugs into unused characters. I won't need them anymore. Okay. Oh. And these two. There we go. Go ahead. This won't actually be till the next panel, but since I'm already here, I kind of feel like setting this up so I don't have to. Um, so the last panel will be something like that. The doors need to be closed. Complex. Not the furniture. Let's see. Doors are under building, gym doors, and these two. Let's delete those keys. Okay. That's like that's going to be the last panel. I think he needs to look just a little happier. They're here to build muscle. They should feel good about that. Okay, I'm going to leave the camera like this since it's already set up. Let's go to perspective. And what we're going to do here is let's grab the barbell. And bring it down to his chest. That's good, right? Okay. And then we pull. And I do some of these. Okay, this is, oh my gosh. Okay, what I'm going to do is I think I've got too many characters on screen. So I'm going to, let's take these guys and we'll just park them in there for now. So this should be easier to work with. I do some of these movements so much, you'd think I would just save the poses, but where I've got the characters modified, poses would never really line up right from character to character anyway. Okay, that works. Let's see. And I know there's a way to um, what is it? Pose it symmetrically. So just like select symmetry and let the program, let Daz do it on its own. Let Daz Studio do it on its own, but sometimes it gets quicker just to do it completely on my own than to go digging through the menu and look for it. I think that looks good, right? So we will call that 6. Let's grab a word bubble. Um, Come on. There we go. Paste as new layer. Let's put it there. Yeah, okay. I kind of feel like I wanted to sort of use his text bubble to sort of narrate this scene, but I'm kind of changing my mind a little bit. I guess I lost that black background, so let's layer size. I think what I'm going to do instead is sort of turn this into a counseling session of sorts. What did I just do? Okay, I screwed that up, so never mind. Invert, shrink, invert, and cut. None. So I think the next page is where he'll, where like you, the audience, will get what's going on as he's sort of talking with the cop. We're sharing our feelings here. I still feel like there needs to be like an introductory. Not, but on the other hand, like I feel like this could be an almost silent page. And the what, and of course, like what's going to throw you off as the reader is that in Rusty and Elliot. I'm not sure if even in Corey's story there was a difference in the lighting, but the idea is that the fantasy scenes are lit, are look a little different from what's their reality. Whereas here, when he's seeing the bad guys, the lighting is the same, so as to kind of throw you off a little bit. And that one's 34. And what I want is about there. And I'm going to cut this, I think, here. Okay. Okay. And then you're going to pop these characters back in. Unparent. And we'll render that. Okay. What I'm going to do is move this one. Put it up here. I think it'll fit. It'll look better. It'll go better there. Okay. You know what? I'm just going to Control C that because I don't think I need a big bubble, and then we'll paste it. Bring it down here. Let's reorder it. And then we're going to have sort of him stumbling. I'm sorry. And let's put that there. I think that will. Okay, what I'm going to do here is just cut this off. Edit, cut, select none, Control C, and then paste it as new layer. We're going to go layer, transform, flip it that way, and we'll just pull it in a little. Oh my god, this one's going to go forever, isn't it? So I think, again, it's the reflections on reflections. Actually, no, you know what? That word bubble can go in the middle. And let's grab that and bring it down here. Right there. Okay. And I need another new layer, so we'll new layer that layer to image size, fuzzy select, edit cut, and let's get this right this time. Paste as new layer. Finally. Invert, shrink, yes, and invert. Edit, cut. Select none, and there's my border. Let's don't forget to save. Save, 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 because it's always when you get complacent is when everything decides it wants to lock up, crash, etc., and you lose an hour's worth of work. And speaking of an hour's worth of work, but I think again I think like is it the last one? I think I'm gonna cut out here since I don't seem to be very talkative tonight. Um, I think you get the idea. That picture is gonna go there. We'll frame it, and then this will be my page. But I thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sticking with me. I really appreciate everything. I can't say that enough, and I also can't say enough that I hope you guys are staying safe, still safe out there. I hope you guys manage to avoid getting the coronavirus, and good luck to all of you. I really mean that.